another episode of Mike's Sparky Motors. So in this one, I'm going to be reviewing the new projects I picked up over the last couple of months that have been just kind of on the back burner. That way you guys can see what's coming up, and then I at least can get started on them. So yeah, let's get to it. I got a total of 4 projects, so here's number 1. Alright, so meet Sparky, as the last owners called it. This is a 1990 Suzuki Carry. It is a Japanese K truck, I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's K-E-I. Picked this up. It's like a lot of the projects I pick up where it runs, but it runs rough. So here in a moment I'll try to start it up, see if I can at least get it running so you can see it. But it's kind of a cool little truck. It's 4-wheel drive. It has a 3-cylinder in it. It's only a 660cc. No, excuse me. This is the 550cc. The year after this, they went up. And it is right-hand drive, so you're driving on the opposite that you're used to in the U.S. And originally it was white, but either the people I bought it from or the owners before that ended up painting it this green and put vinyl lightning bolts all over it. And even on the tailgate, it does say Sparky. So, all right, let's take a little closer, little more detailed look at this thing. So as you can see, here's the bed. They had put some kind of a cheap like bed liner on it, and it's flaking off, so I'll have to try to do something with that. But it's kind of interesting that there's a panel here you remove for engine and transmission access and work on it. And then also they had the touch of a skull on their exhaust because they plumbed it up. You can see here all the way up. The stock exhaust was it exited underneath, but they did this, so. And then here's the cab. As you can see, it's right-hand drive, like I said. They stuck with the skull theme on the shift knob. And yeah, the only thing I've done to this so far is the levers here were busted off. They had, I guess they said, some kind of steering wheel wrap. It came off and caught the levers and busted them off. And to find one for this truck was very expensive. It had to come from Japan. So actually I bought one for a Suzuki Samurai and repinned out the connector and everything, and now it all works. I just can't get these covers back on, but yeah. So that's it. They're pretty plain Jane. They don't got a lot of features. Let's see. There's the front end, what it looks like. And then let's see if we can get that. Yep, Sparky. So, oh yeah, the one other thing I was going to show you in the cab, which is kind of funny, is there's this engine access here. The other part is right here. Come on. And then the passenger seat comes out too. So if you take out both seats and that panel in the back, you actually have a decent amount of room to work on it. So another thing that's kind of crazy with this truck too is, like, I don't know if you can really tell from the video, but this engine is installed at like a 20-degree angle from horizontal. It lays really flat. So, all right, let's see if we can get this thing started. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to start. Nope, the battery's completely dead. So, guess we're not starting this video. So one thing I didn't remember to mention in the walk-around video is that, you know, this also, it came with ATV wheels on it. So it's got like the ATV tires, but they're pretty worn. They need to be replaced. And this thing already has a 3-inch lift on it. I may actually either take it out or drop it down to like a 2-inch lift possibly, because right now it's giving me positive camber in the front, and I don't really want that. Another cool thing is the bed, not only the tailgate, but the sides, they also all fold flat or fold down so that you could have something that was sticking out if you're hauling something big. But so first thing, I'll be working on this thing, and I don't know how soon that's going to be, but it's going to be just to get it running good. And sorry I couldn't test it, even starting it right now. I forgot to even think about the battery being dead. But yeah, long term, I'm not sure. It would be fun to do some kind of motor swap to it, but I've seen some online that people, it's usually like a motorcycle engine, or there's a couple of guys I think that did a Hayabusa swap. But the thing I don't like is because this engine that's in here sits at such an angle. That's how they get it in there. That most engines don't run like that, so they have to stick up into the bed. And I want to still use this as a functional truck. So at least short term, I'm not going to be doing anything like that. So I'll just be getting it running and whatnot. Because you also lose the 4-wheel drive, unfortunately, unless you figure out a way to hook that all back up. But yeah, so guys, we'll be seeing this probably not real soon, but probably this spring I'll start working on it. And yeah, so let's check out the next project. All right, so this next project, you've probably seen it in the background of some of my other videos. I've had it for a while, just haven't had time to do anything with it. This is a 2013 CFMoto Z6EX side-by-side. Kind of the same situation as with Sparky, where I started to run rough, and the people that owned it before, or that I bought it from, didn't even feel like trying to figure out what's wrong. They just went and bought a new one and sold this one off cheap. So, score for me. I've done some research online about some of the issues it does have. Like it doesn't want to stay running, and also it's pulling oil into the intake. And so from my research, they're saying that the factory air intake and filter and everything is pretty much garbage, that you should replace it as soon as you can. And I'm hoping that when I open up the air box, there's not the stock filter in there, because I guess it was so bad that it let all sorts of dirt and mud and everything in there, and it can ruin the top end of your engine. And then you got to rebuild. So I hope I don't have to go that far with it, but if I do, you guys are going to see it. And yeah, and then I guess there's because if the air filter gets clogged, it's creating so much pressure, like a vacuum almost, to try to get air and fuel into it. It'll start pulling oil through the crankcase breather, and this thing had oil in the intake. So yeah, but yeah, when I get to this thing, you guys get to see it all, and hopefully this one shouldn't be too far out for me getting to start on it. I'd try to start it right now for you guys, but since it's just been sitting here, I've been kind of using it as storage, so I've got stuff in it. But yeah, so at least get to airing into it here in the near future and kind of see where we're at and what we got to do for this thing. All right, so this one is brand new to me. I just picked it up last week, and it's a go-kart, or I've heard some people call them cross karts. And I don't know if this was manufactured or home built. Some of it looks not homemade, and some of it does, so it might be a Frankenstein thing. But it's kind of a funny story how I ended up acquiring this. So a few weeks ago, I seen it pop up on Craigslist and messaged the guy immediately. And I just barely missed it. Like, the guy was there to pick it up when he replied to me. And so I was like, I missed out on that one. So then the next day, I see a Yamaha 250cc dirt bike engine, or motorcycle, anyways, for sale for really cheap. So I was like, I'm gonna message the guy, and he said, oh yeah, I just pulled it out of a go-kart project I just picked up. So then I started talking to the guy and found out it was this thing. And I picked up the motor from him for another project and started BSing with him for a while, and pretty nice guy. We ended up becoming friends on Facebook, so we can talk about projects together and whatnot. And then I just kind of went my own way, and then I seen just the frame pop up, or actually he was selling it with the Snowcat engine because that's what his plan was, up for sale again. And so I messaged him, and I was telling him I wasn't interested in the Snowcat engine because I was going to put the Yamaha that came out of it back in here. And talked to him for a while and ended up picking it up for him without the Snowcat engine and everything. And so here it is. And unfortunately, he'd already pulled the engine out when he bought it. Everything was installed and everything, but just more for me to do, but more content for you guys. So hopefully it should be pretty good. Not sure what the final goal will be with this guy. Like I said, that 250cc I'll put back in here just to get it running again, so it can be driven. And then I'd like to swap something else into it. Don't know what yet, but we'll see. But yeah, this one will be, I think at least getting the engine in there running should be coming up fairly soon. and then other like bigger mods and stuff will probably be later on, or summer, spring when it's warmer. So, all right, and then the next one, we'll get to that right now. All right, this last project is a GMC pickup, Power Wheels. So if you guys have ever watched Grindhard Plumbing Co. on YouTube, and I think there's like Moto Mule, and there's others that, if you watch them on YouTube, you'll probably have a guess of what I'm going to do to this. So what I'm going to do is actually build a go-kart underneath the Power Wheels body, essentially. And I picked up this over here. This is a 450cc out of a Yamaha YFZ450. I ended up getting that really cheap, so hopefully it runs. And it's going to go into this guy. It'll be sticking up right out of the hood here. And yeah. And originally, after I'd watched the Grindhard guys, that it looked like a fun project, I was just going to build just a standard go-kart underneath of it. And then I decided I want to actually challenge myself. And so I'm going to do like full suspension and everything. So independent front suspension, and then it'll be a solid axle on the back, so it won't be independent. But yeah, I figured I'd do it right from the get-go. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun, but like I said, it's going to be challenging. So look for that one coming up. One thing that one's been on the back burner for is because I picked this up. That's another project I've been working on, but since it's not really motor related, I left it off the channel. This welding table was sitting outside at the business next to mine, or where I work. And it's a glass shop, and they had it just sitting outside for, I think it was months. And so I asked them what they were doing with it, and they ended up selling it to me cheap. But I had to spend many, many hours grinding down the surface to try to get the rust and pitting as much as I could and try to still keep it fairly flat. So I then did also add in all the holes. I drilled all those. And originally I wanted to do more of, this is a 6x6 inch grid. I wanted to do like, 3 or 4 or something like that. But then I realized even a 6x6 grid was 49 holes, and then I tapped them all, so it was a lot. I might add those later. And then I've welded on a big power strip, and then the whole bottom underneath is going to be transformed to house grinders and all that stuff. And got some clamps I made up. I bought this at Harbor Freight and welded up the little tab so you can put that there and lock down your whatever you're welding. Got another one here, and then got my tubing notcher mounted on there. And then the other thing I've been trying to do is, like, I got a grinder here in my little small vise. I actually made little brackets for them. You can see that they're bolted to, and then they bolt directly to the table. So I can just bolt them on, do my work I need, unbolt them, and put them back underneath the table so they're out of the way. And so most of my tooling like that will be mounted just by bolts. So yeah, that's it. And then that's the Yamaha engine there for the cross cart. So there you have it. That's all the new projects I picked up. And yeah, they'll start seeing those here shortly. And then don't forget about the ruckus. The ruckus isn't going anywhere because I got the other ones. Actually, my next video will probably be this guy, because I got some stuff coming up that I got to do to it, or want to do to it. And yeah, you guys will be seeing that. So thanks for watching. Like the video if you're liking what I'm doing. Leave me a comment. You can even tell me like which project you're excited to see, or anything. Just leave me a comment. And yeah, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So thanks a lot, guys. See you guys next time.